Good evening, everyone. Good evening, sir. This is Maria Elaine now from Edocrity. The topic for tonight is all about fructose metabolism. Now let us define first about fructose metabolism. So fructose is present in fruit juice and honey. Chief dietary source is sucrose. Sucrose is hydrolyzed in the intestine by the enzyme sucrase. Fructose is absorbed by facilitated transport and taken by portal blood to liver. It is mostly converted to glucose. So the main source of fructose is from sucrose, which is disaccharide. So sucrose consists of glucose and fructose. Biochemical importance of fructose. Fructose is easily metabolized and a good source of energy. Seminal fluid is rich in fructose and spermatozoa utilizes fructose for energy. That's why they say some sweet siya pag tinikman mo. Sabi nila. Okay? So in diabetics, fructose metabolism through sorbitol pathway may account for the development of cataract. So, katarata. So, that's why kung bakit nagkakaroon ng katarata ang mga tao because of fructose metabolism. So, fructose metabolism, fructose is phosphorylated to form fructose 6-phosphate catalyzed by the enzyme hexokinase. Affinity of the enzyme hexokinase for fructose is very low. So we do have here fructose and then ATP converted to ADP with the presence of hexokinase. So fructose 6P. So magkakaroon ng glucose 6P with the presence of isomerase and going to EM pathway. So fructose is mostly phosphorylated by fructokinase to fructose 1-phosphate. Fructokinase is present in liver, kidney, muscle, and intestine. So hexokinase can also act on fructose to produce fructose 1-phosphate. Fructose 1-phosphate is cleaved to glyceraldehyde and acetone phosphate or DHAP by aldolase B. Glyceraldehyde is phosphorylated by triokinase to glyceraldehyde 3-phosphate along with DHAP enters glycolysis or gluconeogenesis. So, sorbitol or polypathway tayo. So, it involves the conversion of glucose to fructose via sorbitol. So, sorbitol pathway is higher in uncontrolled diabetes. This enzyme, aldose reductase, reduces glucose to sorbitol in the presence of NADPH. So, sorbitol is then oxidized to fructose by sorbitol dehydrogenase and NAD+. So we do have here a picture where glucose NADPH plus H plus converted to the NADPH plus with the presence of aldose reductase. So we're gonna have a sorbitol. So NAD plus converted to NADH plus H plus with the presence of sorbitol dehydrogenase to produce fructose. Sorbitol pathway in diabetes mellitus is uncontrolled diabetes. Large amount of glucose enter the cell which are not dependent on insulin. The cell with increased intracellular glucose level in diabetes, lens, retina, nerve cells, kidney, possess high activity of aldose reductase and sufficient supply of NADPH. That's why some of the diabetic people is nagiging blind because of this cervical pathway. This result in a rapid and efficient conversion of glucose to sorbitol. So from glucose, nagko-convert siya to sorbitol. The enzyme sorbitol dehydrogenase is either low in activity or absent in these cells. Sorbitol is not converted to fructose. So sorbitol cannot freely pass through the cell membrane and accumulate in the cell. That's why the entry of fructose into the cell is not insulin dependent. So yung fructose doesn't promote insulin secretion. So defects in fructose metabolism. So we have also here about the defects or a deficiency about fructose metabolism. We have here essential fructosuria, fructosuria in which deficiency of the enzyme hepatic fructokinase, so fructose is not converted to fructose 1-phosphate. Excretion of fructose in urine, treatment, restriction of dietary fructose, urine gives positive benefits and silhouettes of test. So usually dapat ang sugar is not present pagka nagkaroon ng urinary test. Hereditary fructose intolerance. So when you say hereditary, is inborn na sa kanya. So we have autosomal recessive inborn error. Due to defect in the enzyme aldolase B, fructose 1-phase cannot be metabolized. Intracellular accumulation of fructose 1-phosphate will inhibit glycogen phosphorylase, leads to accumulation of glycogen in liver and associated with hypoglycemia. So when you say hypoglycemia, usually those people na mababa ang kanilang sugar na present sa kanila. So ano yung mga symptoms nun? Yung vomiting, loss of appetite, hepatomegaly, and jaundice. Vomiting, nagsusuka, walang gana, so enlargement of the liver, and also jaundice. Okay, if liver damage progresses, death will occur. So, pwede silang mamatay. So, fructose is excreted in urine. Restriction of dietary fructose. Fructose is excreted in urine. Usually, if you are a healthy people, when you undergo urinary test, supposed to be sugar should not be present. Okay, enable for us to really understand that the topic that I have discussing right now, I have here a video clip regarding the fructose metabolism. And that's our for today. Thank you for watching. Once again, this is Maria Elaine Lau from EdUp 3D presenting fructose metabolism. Presented. Okay, thank you.